welcome to Talk to Malik Jones. And guess who's talking to me? Aisha Jawara, the debut lady on this program. She is a marketing officer with Mega Bank and also author of 3 books. The Last Custodian, The Oath Must Be Fulfilled as Promised, and part 2 of The Oath, which is The Oath Fulfilled.
Yes.
Pleasure to have you, Aisha.
Honor is mine. The pleasure is all mine. So excited to have this with you.
I'm so excited too.
All right.
You happen to absolutely see dreams being fulfilled. I mean, Gambian ladies taking it up upon themselves, writing. When I thought that Gambian women don't read, people don't love reading in this country, you know that.
Yeah,
very well.
100%.
But to see someone like you take up your pen, despite the fact that you work at a bank, but getting into the literary world is something I really cherish. But first of all, give me a background about who is Aisha? Who is Aisha Jawara?
Well, usual. I'm Aisha Jawara, and I'm working with Mega Bank, like you said, as a marketer, mostly with the business development. But before that, I am originally from Kumbija, that's where my parents were from, Gambian born, and we live at Canifing South. That's probably it, no?
You must have the power of words. Where did you go to school?
I went to different schools. I went to St. Teresa's, nursery, primary, junior, then to NOS. And from there, I started working, but then traveled to Nigeria for some courses, and then to Ghana. I did some courses there too, like script writing and 3D animation.
To sit down and author 3 books at this time,
yeah,
it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable.
Thank you.
Where did you get this inspiration from? Did your grandmother used to tell you stories? Like we benefited from our grandmothers.
No kidding.
At night,
yes.
they'll tell us stories.
It's like it was
Lebon, Lipain, Amon, Nafi, and stuff
yeah.
like that.
It was my grandmom and my great aunt. They were my go-to then. You know, at night when it's nighttime, I'm just so excited to hear the stories about our people. So that was some of my inspiration came from that area. But then I started writing since I was a kid. I would go to a school, and to Arabic school, where they would talk about the prophets, you know, like, you know, their storyline is fascinating. Knowing and learning that they actually happened, these are real events that happened before, they were fascinating enough to get me to start writing about them, because I would like to remember when I'm narrating it to my younger siblings. They like hearing stories like that. That's basically how I started writing. Other people's stories mostly, because these are stories that were already written long time ago about our prophets. But I started writing my own book when I was 13. It was a book I read in a library, St. Teresa's. I was in junior school. A book about the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe, titled Narnia, written by C.S. Lewis. He is one of my main inspiration to start writing on my own. So for that, since then, I just started writing. I've wrote so many books, and because I've not been getting very good receptions when it comes to trying to publish it, because I traveled different countries, Nigeria, Ghana, but it was not very successful. So I decided to take it up on myself, start publishing it on my own, which so far is working so good for me, I think. I like all the...
Glad to hear that, glad to hear that. I mean, I hope you'll be an inspiration to the other ladies as well, in a way. Because I always have this story I tell some of my male friends that if you want to keep money and your wife doesn't see it, just shove it inside a book like that and leave it there.
Exactly.
20 years.
That's the story they told about every African. They said you want to keep anything from them, just keep it in a book.
Keep it in a book. They don't bother.
But somehow I am into that. And
you must have done very well at school in English literature and English language, because to write a book, you must have the power of words.
Yes. I tried my best. I mean, because it was my interest. I just loved writing, so it was definitely something I wanted to excel on, and because I put my mind to it and I was determined, it was quite easy. Yes.
So you get locked up in the house, cut off from all social ties outside, and just
go
for it.
Yeah, it works for me. It does the magic. Sometimes I go out, I see kids playing, I take a photo of them, or I just get inspired seeing almost everything. Music, Gambian kids, like everywhere, because I basically grew up here. So most of the things I see, I'm inspired so much. I'm like, what if people that come in the future don't get to see this? When people, what if things change later? What about I'm gonna write this down and have them have a basic idea as to how we were living now. So it will, so they will know how it was like for us now. Because in the future, times will be different, things will definitely be different. So my writing mostly entails that, is to let the youths of the future know what we were like now.
Let me take you to your very first book.
Okay.
All right? I'm sure there were people by your side that helped you seriously.
Yes.
To make sure that you write this book, you complete it, you publish it, and you launch it.
Yes.
Do you want to reflect on those people? Do you want to remember them and say thank you for putting me there?
I actually want to thank my mom. She's been so helpful. I mean, I think I dedicated the book, the first book. I dedicated it to her and my siblings. The fact that I write, I know it doesn't stop there. Writing is easy to me, but after you have to take it to people to edit and stuff. So for writing to be something I love is basically because of my mom and siblings. And for me to finally be able to publish my first book, which was published by a publishing house named Majaga Publishing, owner of the companies, sorry to say, passed away, Yahar Majaga. I am so grateful to her. I was working at Reliance when she walked in once saying that she was opening a publishing house, and I was introduced to her. I never thought she was going to help me. Here in the Gambia. Good. I didn't think, it was going to be possible, because then I had tried so many places, so many chance opportunities, but they all just, it comes 1 minute and then it goes away. But this lady believed in me, took my book, and is like, you know what, for you to be able to write this big book on your own, I want to be one of the people who will help you. And thanks to her, I was able to finally publish my first book, The Last Custodians. It was a trilogy though. It was a 3-book, and because she passed away, we couldn't do the last 2. But thanks to her, I'm so grateful to her. Thanks to her, I am where I am, because she inspired me in a way to never give up.
Give me a gist of that book. What was the Last Custodian all about?
The Last Custodian...
I'm rather very unfortunate. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
But I would love to read that one.
It came out mid 2013, June 14. I remember the day because it was the day my dream came true. So it's basically about 8 youths, students, high schoolers, who were born with great knowledge, not the normal one, the supernatural one. They have different specific talents that they're good at, extremely good at. So they are they come together and to fight this bad witch that has been in hiding and been doing bad things to people. But story is basically about them coming together and fighting those guys. Fighting that lady with her team. She has apparently a very big empire, supernatural empire. It's not something the Gambians you don't see it if you're an ordinary person, but those 8 people get to see it and not just stop there. They also get to fight her. And I'm not going to give any spoilers because the last 2 books of that book is not out yet.
Would you like to see those books? Since you said it's a trilogy, and you've now worked on the second part of The Oath, which we'll come to later on. Would you like to see a completion of this trilogy?
Now that I've started doing this on my own, there's no stopping me.
Okay.
I am going all the way. I think the sky is just my starting point. Because that was the beginning, but I'm going to see to it that people see the end. For the Oath, for me to be inspired, for me to even want to publish the second bit of the Oath is because I wouldn't be able, I can't get in. People kept calling and asking, when is it coming out? You like doing this. The Last Custodian, you brought it out and we didn't hear from you again regarding the last 2 books. But this one, you can't do that to us. You have to make sure you bring out the last part. I'm stuck somewhere. I have to know how it ended. So there's no stopping me. Those 2, I will definitely see to it that they're out soon enough.
Let me go now to The Oath.
Yeah.
Must be fulfilled as promised, this is the first book that you wrote after the last custodian,
yes.
which you actually published on your own.
Yes.
Now, I have not been able to read almost entirely the whole book, but there is a lot of mystery. There's a lot of hate. There are so many vices, all encapsulated in this book.
Yeah.
Tell us, has anything got to do with this book about the Soninke people?
Oh yes, a great deal.
And pre-Islamic, by the way, because
Yeah.
we're talking about spirits
And gods
and gods,
and priests.
you know.
Yes.
And in Islam there's only the unity of one God.
Exactly.
But in this one, we're talking about multiple gods.
That's true.
Now, give us a breakdown.
Okay, like I said, when I was a kid, I would follow my great aunt for stories about us, and it's so
The
fascinating.
Soninkes.
The Soninkes is so fascinating how they lived by caste systems. You know, like it determined pretty much everything in their lives. If you have to do something, your caste is checked out first, and then they're like, okay, you can go ahead, or no, you can't because you're a slave or you're a a goldsmith. You know, so that was fascinating to find out. It was so fascinating. I had the inspiration to write this book since then as a kid. So the truth that our time, like a long time ago, our fathers, they believed in like their griots, and you know they were powerful ones too, because
Oh, yes.
according to my great aunts, they predict something and it happens, you know. So for me, that is just really fascinating. I don't know. I just find it really nice, but the discrimination bit on the caste system is something that I'm not very okay with, but it's still fascinating to know. Like I said, I like knowing about our people back in the days, and I'm writing about us now, like the last question is about now. I'm writing about us now so people of tomorrow can see what we're like now. You know, then our great aunts will tell us stories about our great grandparents, but they don't have it in writing. And I have some of them in my head, and thankfully I wrote some of them because there are so many stories. I wrote about 22 novels. This is just one of the third ones. So thankfully we are starting to write now. So I would like to write these things. They are really fascinating. And to think, you know, caste systems are still being an issue in our countries. People are still killing over it, you know. Imagine how it is now, and imagine how deep it was then, when it determined everything in your life, when you can't even dream because you are a slave or you are, you know, a low caste.
Low caste.
Imagine then how hard it must have been for those people, you know. So that to me is something I should write about, because
What about the spiritual world? You talked here about a king rushing to get back to his kingdom and trampled upon a spirit and was this was a demented spirit, a spirit that was
His
almost
own,
absolutely. Tell us about that. That still sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It's something that I also took from inspiration of my stories. You know, back in the days, according to them, like they would walk on the street and meet spirits and stuff, because they're people who believe in griots. They tend to know about these things. But this king stood on the spirit and didn't realize, because he was in a rush, and the spirit was almost at the verge of disappearing. But it needed blood to continue, and this king gave it the opportunity to ask for it, because it was lying around his own for so long. It thought it was like over it was finished. Except when he had this opportunity, he asked for what he wanted, which was blood, and the king wasn't ready to give that, because it would mean he has to die, and he had just reigned. He had just become king. So he wanted one of his followers to agree to, you know,
Give the blood.
yes, and then the slave that agrees to do it agrees on condition him and his people are
Will be
removed
set free
from slavery.
from slavery. Yeah.
Yes. So that is not only fascinating, it's a beautiful story. I'm already excited about the part 2, because I know with all the feedback I got from other people everywhere, almost everywhere, people who read the book, they only want to know how, if this oath would really be fulfilled, because the king promising that slave that he was gonna do it in the seventh generation, was something he didn't have a choice, because all the other people won't do it. And it was a crime for a slave to become a nobleman just like that. It was something that was impossible back in the days. So he was really conflicted. He was in a place where he can't disagree with the slave, and he couldn't let go of his tradition because it was a taboo. But he ended up doing it and giving time, as in the 7th generation, you, the two race, will be free, hoping that people will abide by it. So this story is basically that.
We have another instance in the novel where it's not the king that is confronted here, but it's the queen that is confronted with a griot.
Yes.
That came to tell the queen of something that's going to happen in the future.
Exactly.
Vis-a-vis, there will come a time when a queen will come
from her slaves.
From her slaves.
Yes.
That too I find fascinating.
Yeah. It's crazy. How would I take it? I just thought about it. How would I take it if someone comes to me and says, amongst your slave will come a queen. She will be way better than you, graceful and so great that the whole kingdom will live to talk about it. I don't know how I will take it, but this queen took it in the most random way. This is how I believe most of us will take it, refusing. Because she worked hard to become queen. She didn't just, get selected by the queen and so king and got married. She worked to get married. The king never loved her. So imagine working hard to get up there only to be told that someone is coming and the person will be greater than you up there. So this Gideon came to tell her because there were circumstances. It was supposed to be the priest that would take this information to him, but the king that promised the oath, he did not abide by his promise. He changed his promise. He went back home and changed the whole oath. He changed the story. He took the two race and leveled their caste status to that of a royal slave, not nobleman. But before he died, the slave he promised, Ghost came to him and said, it has to be the way you said, like promise. You promised it, so you have to make sure the oath is fulfilled as promised. And then it was just his Gideon that was by his side. So he told the Gideon to write it down so he will seal it with the royal seal, so that it will be, this story will be taken down to the 7th generation. That was how it was. That was how it ended up having. You see the Gideon ending up to go to the queen to explain, because it was his great grandfather that wrote that thing for the great grand king. So he took that story and took it to the queen, explaining to her exactly what is supposed to happen in future with her son marrying one of the slaves. But the queen, well, let's say she didn't take it well.
So in other words, in this the oath must be fulfilled as promised. The follow-up is where the oath is been fulfilled.
Officially.
In this book, the oath will not be fulfilled.
It will not.
It will be in suspense.
Exactly. Lots of suspense, and it will be the beginning of controversies, lots of discrimination. It just started in this. But in the last bit, that's where it really ends. That's where it's like, you see I explored on how exactly the oath will be fulfilled, which of the slaves will really become the queen that will be greater than the current queen, and all the suspense will finally come. Like, answers will be provided for all of them.
This is Talk to Malik Jones, and my guest is Aisha Jawara. She's the author of now 3 books. The first one, The Last Custodian, The Oath Must Be Fulfilled as Promised, and she's got one coming up in a matter of weeks from now, and that one is The Oath Fulfilled.
Yes.
Now, Aisha, let me get back to you and the difficulties and the literary world and the mega problems that you go through. Publishing and launching. Your last launch of this book, what experiences did you go through?
I went through a lot of experience, but thank God for the people I met, like owner of this TV station. He only learned that I'm writing a book and he came, supported me 100%. But the experiences were not so good. But it was a learning point for me, because I wouldn't know them if I hadn't tried to publish my book on my own. Now I would know what a publisher would go through to launch a book. So what I experienced was hard. I'm still going through it, But the fact that
can you tell me? So a young brand new publisher coming on to the scene will avoid the pitfalls that you went through, and maybe somebody out there will know that this lady is really trying, and these were the pitfalls. Let's see how we can help her.
Oh,
What were the problems?
the problem basically is trying to sell online. I was able to, because like I said, I'm gonna be honest. Us Gambians, we're really not into reading.
Oh no,
Most of the people
we don't buy
interested-
novels. We don't even buy books.
We don't. But I like a moderate people, like say 5% out of the whole Gambia are into reading. So, but in the out world, like in Nigeria or America, there's so many people asking to get access to at least the ebook version. And I tried. I had worked on opening my website and trying to sell online, but it was so hard to get this account that would be good enough for me to be able to sell. Like Gambia, we literally can't sell online. I mean, even if you do, you can only use your money to buy online. You cannot have the cash in your hand. So that is it's a very hard part for me. I'm still struggling to get that account. It's not easy, but the fact that I loved writing and I want people to see what I'm writing, because I've seen the excitement my siblings and my friends get when I just start the story for them. So I'm like, maybe I should try and get it for them to read. Because of that zeal, because of that, that happiness I get when people read my book, I'm willing to go all the way. The experience is definitely, I'm still going through it. It's not easy at all.
You launched this book after publishing it, and it was out on the before it went out on the market. You launched the book.
Yeah.
What was the attendance like?
It was moderate, but it was good. Comparing it to my first book launching, The Last Custodians, I had friends that stood by me, and I have the Soninke people. My God, they were amazing. It's hard to believe I'm writing about us, and this is things that are still living with us, and you're still coming in to support, even though you don't really, some of them still don't believe in the whole caste system changing. They still want to stick to it, but they still came. They still came to support me. For that, it was good. The turnout for that event was great. For this event.
So you mentioned something that makes me wonder. This caste system.
I know.
If I wanted to marry a Soninke woman, I'll face some problems, wouldn't I?
Because you're not Sarahule.
Because I'm not Sarahule.
Because you're not Sarahule. But right now things are changing regarding that. Like
so.
Different tribes are Sarahules are marrying different tribes now.
Yeah. And the men are marrying.
Exactly. Even the women. Even the women.
So I can if I.
You can if you want to actually.
Do I have loaded? You have to load it up.
Yeah, that is a must. That is a must.
So that's segregated by poverty.
Yeah.
Segregation by poverty.
Mostly. What I know is like if you're Sarahule and I'm Sarahule, you want to marry me, they go down. They will go deep, like an undercover investigation on you.
Money.
Yeah, sometimes they tend to disregard that. But if you're from the lowest caste, even if you have so much money, they still talk about it. Oh, this guy's from the lowest caste. You're way, he or she is way below you. There is no way I'm gonna let it happen.
All right. We'll move away from that one. We don't want to offend anybody.
Please,
now, the second part of the oath, which is called the oath fulfilled. It's about to be published and launched. Now, could you tell us about it? What are the arrangements?
Well, I'm launching this book on the 24th of this month,
24th.
which is Saturday coming next.
Wow.
Saturday is tomorrow. Saturday coming after that.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. That's just like 6 days away from now. So I'm hoping to see you people. You will need to come to my program. It is happening at Hotel School. And there's a fee, actually. You pay $400. You get the book. You get to eat. Gambians, we love that. My friends, they don't read, okay? I'm going to be honest with you, but once they get the food, they're more than happy to come and pay for it, so they'll get the book. So
that is one of a kind.
Yes, it's a marketing strategy.
I guess you heard her. Come to my lunch, get a book for $400 at the door. Eat as much as you can
with drinks
and walk away smiling and congratulate the lady.
Thank you.
24th
24th
of August.
of August, yes.
Do you have any big guns behind you? Patrons? People that you think will really come with fat envelopes?
I do.
Think about that.
Hopefully, I do. There are so many people I send patron letters to. And
Especially from your clan, eh?
yes.
The Soninkas.
The Soninkas.
They have the money, they'll come.
They'll definitely come.
Oh,
they like
yes.
supporting, and like I said, I love the fact that they come in to support. And I also have big people coming in. Like guest of honor would be Khalifa Salah.
Okay.
He showed interest, which is so nice to know.
That's great.
And then I'm also getting a chief guest speaker, Momodu Sabali.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll get to meet all these people there. I'm telling you, you need to come. It's not just food and drinks and the book. You get to meet these big deals. And Malik Jones.
Who's your luncher?
Momodu Sabali.
Sabali will lunch.
Yeah.
Okay, that will be great. Hotel School,
Yes.
24th of August.
Yeah, 5
Time,
p.m.
5 p.m.
Yes.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that. I'm sure Star TV as well will be there to cover the event. And let's look at the oath fulfilled content-wise.
Well, like I said, controversies, lots of suspense. Oath fulfill must be promised just started that. Oath fulfill, see what I did there with the title? It's officially fulfilled. All the suspense that we're talked about, that I started talking about in this book, you get to see how it really ends. You get to see the answers to why it was so, the curiosity was killing you. You get to know, you want to know what really happened to the main character and to the supposed destiny that she's supposed to, be a part of.
Is that Lalia?
Lalia, yes.
Lalia is the main character.
She unknowingly became the lady that was supposed to have this oath fulfilled, and she didn't even know this was something that was decided way before her time. So in the part 2, she gets to know why she has to be the one, and all the suspense that were being held in the part 1 will be answered in the part 2. Yes.
And I'm hoping that this one will be a very successful launch. And how long do you think it will going to take you for another book?
No,
Since you've got already
I
in
have
your
22 in my
22
pocket.
in your pocket.
And this is 3 out of that. I plan to publish a book every year now.
Every year.
Yeah, so next year we'll hear of maybe the second part of Last Custodians, or maybe another entirely new story. I have so many to tell.
Well, any final message to your
Audience? I am
your fans? I'm sure you have a lot of them. People
Still.
now hold you in awe because of this tremendous achievement. I mean, people who really want to aspire to be another Aisha Jawara. People who want to step into your shoes, and if not do what you're doing, but hopefully to do more than that what you've done.
Exactly.
Because
Looking
that's
forward
that's
to
what
that.
we're all looking forward to. I want to see another King of Talk when I die. I want to see another Super Malik Jones.
Tell me about it. Oh, if that guy is Superman, I'll be all over that guy. I am already so impressed with what you've done so far. I'm a fan, like a biggest fan.
Thank you.
One.
Pleasure. Well, Aisha, that does it. It's been a pleasure
It was.
to have you on Talk to Malik Jones. In fact, you're the first guest to talk to me
Oh my
on this
God.
medium.
It's an honor.
So it
Thank
makes-
you. Thank you so much. I get this opportunity. Wow. I should go tell the whole world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Aisha Jawara on Talk to Malik Jones, author of 3 books and launching her next book, The Oath Fulfilled, 24th of August, Hotel School at 5 p.m. 400 Telasi at the door. Free book, free lunch. Be there, and for me, goodbye.